Hello and welcome back to Grit and Crit. I'm Sint,
I'm Axion.
and we are beginning a new adventure today as we discuss Lord of the Flies by William Golding and return to Hollow Knight. This is going to be a fun one.
Oh boy. So, if you are from the United States like we are, you probably were required to read Lord of the Flies at some point in your education.
Fun fact, I actually wasn't.
That's why I said probably.
I was supposed to, but we moved the middle of my freshman year. So the district I had started in assigned it in the spring. The district I moved to read it in the fall. Since we moved in January, I happened to miss it in both districts, so I actually had never read Lord of the Flies until the first job I had, where the district I moved into taught it to sophomores. I was hired to teach 10th grade English, so I had to read it to get my curriculum together. So yeah, I actually never read Lord of the Flies until I had to become very familiar with the book to explain it to teenagers. At this point, however, I have now read it many, many times. And, well, as far as books read in class go, it's a really fun one to teach because there's enough bits in it that will get a room full of kids really invested. And if you use that properly, you can really make it memorable. Which is honestly what I shoot for, because if I want kids to keep reading, I need them to know that books will give you feelings.
In my case, the feelings are barely restrained rage.
See, I was going to say the feeling might be bloodlust, but it's a feeling.
Not bloodlust. More like I hate these kids and everything they're doing. Except for
Oh,
a
I'm not.
specific few of them.
Trust me, you get numb to that after a while if you work in retail/education for long enough. It's just, oh, okay, at least nothing's on fire, we're fine.
I guess that's fair.
Anyway, to make clear why Axion has these feelings of barely repressed rage, and I'm kind of mildly bemused at the situation, we should probably go ahead and just, as per our tradition, discuss the plot. You want me to take it, or do you want to go ahead?
You go ahead. I will
All right.
absolutely let you take the lead on this one.
All right. So,
Ow.
at an unspecified time in the 40s or 50s, we're never quite sure, a plane carrying a passenger load of schoolboys from a British school crash lands on an island somewhere in the Pacific. We are never given exact details. We're never given anything specific even about the plane, except that there was something fairly science fiction-y. This is the only sci-fi in the book. A compartment that had the passengers be completely safe, while the pilot's the only one who died. So, anyway, we have now an island with, we don't even know how many kids there are on it, but the oldest there...
Oh.
Hello, boss. Yeah. The oldest person on this island is at most 14. I believe 12 is more likely, but yeah. As every year when I tell the kids this, I want you to take into account what would happen if you had an island where the person with the most maturity and authority is your 8th grade younger brother, and there's always this look of abject horror on their faces. So, yeah, that's the situation. We have a bunch of children with no adult to tell them what to do, and for a while that sounds like fun. But then reality sets in. There's no one to tell you what to do, but there's also no one to feed you, to provide a home for you, to do anything to help you survive. You have to figure all of this out. And survival is not fun. It can be boring. It can be painful, hard work. Can you get a plane crash full of children to work together to get what they need for survival? The answer is no, because before the first chapter even ends, they lose one of the youngest kids because they left one character alone. His name is Piggy. His name is not Piggy, but he makes the mistake of saying, I don't want them to call me that because it's what they called me at school, but he never actually gave his name. So they left Piggy alone to try and count all of the kids and keep track of them while the two other boys of note at this point, Jack, the redheaded choir leader who is very much, I wish to be in charge. I should be in charge because I can sing a high C. Like, yeah, honey, that's cool. And Ralph, who just ends up kind of in charge because he's kind of a median between the aggressive Jack and the nerdy and kind of whiny Piggy. So they run off to go explore the island. Piggy cannot wrangle all of the little kids on his own. One of them, they never find out what happens to him. Like, we just know, like, hey, we're missing one. Where'd he go? He could have wandered into the ocean and drowned. He could have been eaten by a snake. We don't know. The boys decide the best course of action is to never speak of this again because it's uncomfortable. They realize that they're going to need a fire to cook meat.
And when we say they never speak of this again, we do mean never, and we'll come back to this at a later time.
Yeah. So, first thing, there's the conch shell, or conch, I don't know. I've always said it conch. I've heard it's a conch a lot, though, with the British audio.
I was
so
about
I don't
to say
know.
it might be a Britishism.
I don't know. They find a seashell, which Piggy shows Ralph how to use it like a horn. This is what gets all the boys to gather together, and they decide that the conch is the sign of who gets to talk, who's the leader, etc., etc., etc.
We are British. We are going to be civilized and orderly, or at least that was the intent.
That's what they said. Yes. So, Jack quickly decides the choir, who listen to me, shall become hunters. We will gather meat for us. He's very, very quick to suggest this. Only one of the choir boys doesn't go along with this. That would be Simon, who's a little bit small, dark hair, very, very in touch with nature. So, despite being ostensibly part of Jack's gang, he doesn't really fit in with them and it kind of just does his own thing. But, yeah, they go off to try and start a fire because, one, we can use it to cook food. Two, it can be a signal. However, they do this before making shelters. So they have a rough first night, and then the shelters are a long time being built because after the first one gets built, everybody kind of loses interest in helping. Meaning Ralph and Simon are basically having to do it alone, while Jack just runs off in the woods and tries to be a hunter and prove that he is strong enough to kill things.
Yep. And Piggy's there, but says he can't help because doing any physical labor inflates his asthma.
Sucks to your asthma, as a recurring refrain.
Yes, I was about to say that and you beat me to it.
Yep. So yeah, Piggy has the ideas, but he doesn't have the physical capability to follow through on any of them. And in a situation like this, not being able to help does not really make you friends. But, yeah. This actually comes to a head with Jack's obsession with hunting when he and the hunters are supposed to be keeping watch on the fire to make sure it doesn't go out. But Jack pulls the last 2 sentries off to go help him hunt a pig. And they come back with the pig. The fire has gone out, and a ship sails by and does not see the island because there's no smoke signal. This kind of starts the schism that we're going to see develop throughout the book between Ralph's leadership and Jack's leadership, because Jack resents not being able to do whatever the heck he wants whenever he wants to do it. And Ralph is just trying to keep everything from falling apart. The little ones become increasingly convinced that there is a monster on the island that's trying to hunt them. Ralph doesn't believe in this at all. Jack's skeptical at first too, but later changes his tune and starts talking about how they can appease it and that he can hunt the beast. You can probably see where we're going to take this analog later on, but for now, moving on. During the night, sometime later, there is a dogfight above the island. 2 planes shooting each other. One gets shot down, the pilot ejects, but he's already dead. and the wind carries his parachute onto the island, and his corpse is stuck in the tree. The boys, exploring the island, find this in the dark, barely lit by a lightning flash, think it's the beast, and start losing their minds. Now everything is all about, we have to protect ourselves from the beast, we have to prepare, we have to do this, And, well, this is also, again, Jack and Ralph continue having falling outs. They can never get along. Jack actually runs off from the boys when he tries to force a vote to become the new leader the chief instead of Ralph, but no one votes for him as leader. His pride is wounded, he stalks off. And, yeah. Eventually they go set up at the other end of the island, he and the hunters, leaving basically just Ralph and Piggy and some of the little ones. And invite them there for a feast, which is mostly just to, exert power where he can.
And show off.
Yeah, like I said, exert power where he can. Showing off is just, like personal power as well. During this, a storm breaks out, and Simon is off doing his own thing. Simon actually investigates the beast that they saw in the dark, and in the light of day sees what it is. It's the dead pilot. It's never been a beast. It's been all in their heads the whole time. But fear is a powerful motivator, such as the fear of being on the outside. So Jack insists that the hunters reenact their hunt in a dance. As the storm grows, Ralph and Piggy, as well as the twins Sam and Eric, who have been kind of part of the hunters, kind of not, it's weird, get mixed into this, caught up in the moment. In the middle of the reenactment, Simon, kind of tangled in the parachute because he brought it to prove what they'd seen, stumbles into the circle. The hunters are completely locked in the moment, do not realize it's Simon, and all of the boys in the circle beat him to death.
Yep,
they
reenacting the kill of the pig from previously with Simon serving as the sacrificial lamb.
Yep, they don't realize it until after the fact, and when they do realize it, there's basically an agreement that, oh no, I wasn't part of the circle, I left early. Yeah, we all left early. And they never speak of it again, because it's uncomfortable. Now, this, however, leaves Jack's tribe without fire, because the only means they have of making fire was using Piggy's glasses. So in the night, Jack sends hunters to steal Piggy's glasses so they can have fire. But Piggy can't see without the glasses at all, so this isn't just a power move, it's also humiliation for a favorite target.
Yep, Jack has disliked Piggy from the beginning,
which we'll get into a lot more later.
Yeah, and considers him useless and annoying, so...
Yeah, so the last few boys decide we're going to go confront him over this. You can probably guess that this doesn't go well, just how the rest of the book is gone. Sam and Eric are taken captive. Piggy is killed when one of the other hunters, Roger, is throwing rocks. One smacks him right in the chest and he falls off the cliff, breaking the conch in the process, because Piggy happened to have it with him, was trying to recall the authority to get people to listen to him for once. And everybody looks at Ralph. Ralph, wisely, runs like hell because he's being hunted. And he runs and hides and manages to evade them for almost a day before, in an attempt to smoke him out, the hunters set fire to the island. This attracts the attention of a ship, and Ralph is saved, as are the other boys, by the arrival of a naval officer, who's very confused to see all of these good British boys behaving in such a way. Is everything all right? So with this rather anticlimactic end, this is Lord of the Flies. Also known as why we're not allowed to leave the students unsupervised for more than like 30 seconds. If nothing else, it's a memorable book.
I think I've just gone in a complete circle and ended up right back where we started.
Might have.
It's probably a metaphor to be said for that. Couldn't tell you what it is.
Oh, I'm sure we could read something way too much into it. Oh, I don't think we fought this guy yet, so maybe you're not lost.
Nope. This is the same guy we fought earlier.
Oh, okay. I didn't know bosses respawned.
He's not a boss. He's just a tough enemy.
Well, he's bigger than you. Okay, I don't know how the game works.
He's just a tough guy with a shield.
But yeah, that's essentially the plot of Lord of the Flies. I have skipped over some details just because trying to get through a quick summary is a thing, and we will go into more detail as we discuss further themes.
And that's where we'll pick up next time.